This is interesting, actually. Mm. All right, all right. You kicking it here or what? What you doing? I know eventually you're gonna get up and move. I have no issues with that because you are free to do whatever you want. Oh, wait, so soon? Ah, whatever. Um, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The continuation, of course, of the continuation of itself. Essentially, I just appear when needed, unwanted, and then I retract myself off the camera, I guess you can say, because I can never really disappear, right? There's no such thing. You're always here, whether you're on or conscious. That's like an entirely different story, right? Yeah. Anywho, no particular comments, no particular topic. Honestly, I just kind of want to just press play and just see what flows, what comes out. I've been writing a lot of ideas, but haven't been really having the urge to put forth it, I guess you can say, or bring it forth or bring it out. Anywho, I did have a thought. Um, yeah, I guess you can say it was a thought. I wrote a post earlier today on my Instagram, um, simply talking about the confinement that consciousness create upon itself, so that it can invoke evolution, right? So that it can evolve. And the example I put for that is like the old systems dying out. Rather it's evolution, rather it's a different experience or a different path or a different walkway. Particular parameters and barriers are set up, right? They're essentially set up so that consciousness can essentially confine itself within them. And eventually, when it's like use and has been adapted to that boundary, consciousness certainly starts to revolt against said boundaries that was like set upon itself. It's quite fascinating. If you're like a history buff, you can look through on beyond history and realize that a lot of civilizations have risen and also fallen because consciousness has outgrown it essentially, right? It's pretty cool. It's quite fascinating to observe and play with this concept. At the end of the day, it is concepts that we're playing with, concepts and precepts, and then from there we give it energy, and then suddenly it manifests because, well, you know why, yeah. But so with this particular concept, when looking at civilizations, the same could be said about an individual and their path, in their path, right, or in their walks of life. Essentially, we set particular boundaries around us. The comfortability of things, jobs, relationships, environment, people, situations. And then essentially you either succumb to those boundaries or you outgrown those boundaries to create a new boundary, right? To create a new experience or experience a new reality, so to speak. And it's quite fascinating because once you become conscious of these things, you then now can almost redefine it how you want to redefine it and experience it in the manner that you want to experience it. Did she like get up and like create space between us, Azuki? Maybe not. That's what I'm telling myself. That's what it appears to be happening. But of course, when you really think of it, there's nothing really happening until you give it reason or meaning, right? So, yeah, it's pretty cool. I play with myself with these concepts and precepts all the time. Um, yeah, infamous saying, um, before enlightenment, since the sneeze was coming, that's pretty weird. Okay. Anywho, before enlightenment, chop wood. After enlightenment, chop wood. It's quite beautiful, profound, and also simple. Hi, I'm gonna always look at it. This is how I am off the camera. It's also very profound and simple because before enlightenment, you continue to be a human being. This is the way I see it. You're still limited and confined to the human conditions, the human being conditions, right? As awareness and as a consciousness. And when you arisen and realize that you are aware of your awareness and you are aware of yourself, you are still confined to the limitations of a human being condition, right? There's no escaping it or whatnot. You simply just roll with it, right? But this time you're rolling with it knowing that you are only confined for a limited time, or you don't even have to necessarily be confined, because even with that confinement, you can create freedom within it, right? Profound, profound. It's quite fascinating, and I believe these are the teachings that the gurus, other versions of consciousness in the past, present, future, teaches, right, about itself to other people that are searching for these type of knowledge, right? These type of perspectives, these interesting truths, so to speak, and try to apply it to them lives, right? And when they come around these knowledge, it makes things a lot more easier. I mean, we're still here, right, as a human being in these particular conditions, doing what we have to do, chopping wood. But I'm also knowing that while chopping wood, I'm much more greater than such things, right? And so while chopping the wood, I will continue to engulf in this experience of said actions, of multiple realities that I create or come across in a version of another being, right? Profound. Um, it's fire. Like, it's pretty cool to see it in this perspective, in this light. I can't see it no other way. There is no other way for me to be seeing it. Of course, other individuals can see it how they want to see it, of course. But yeah, it's interesting. And so these boundaries are set up with particular conditions, particular experiences, very limited experiences, of course, because it's a boundary, until you realize that the boundary has been placed, and therefore you can now become the programmer and reprogram it and expand it, because consciousness also expands. So therefore it needs more grounds to play with itself. No masturbation or masturbation, either or, it's all the same thing, isn't it? Metaphorically and literally. It's quite interesting. The effects are profound still, but of course too much stimulation will make you get lost, right? So therefore you stimulate, but also, you know, quiet it down, return into your isolation that you are, right? Therefore, the yin and yang balance, the dark and light balance, the left and right, which is still one thing, but we have to label it as such so that we are able to coordinate more better, presumably, right? Maybe, I don't know. Labels are fickle, we get so caught up into them. And it's quite fascinating because it's a way to give energy a meaning, right? But oftentimes we forget that there is energy behind it, and we get so caught up in the meaning that we gave it, which can be redefined at any time, right? There's a regular dictionary, there's a Black Law dictionary. So a person is not really a person, but then a person in this concept is like a thing or an entity. Like, it's crazy, right? Redefining definitions. So therefore, with that particular example, you can also redefine your reality. What one person says about your reality, you don't have to necessarily agree upon it. You can look at them and be like, oh, is that what you see? Interesting. I don't see it as such. You see what I'm saying? And then we have a conversation to explain what exactly do you see. And then they will come and be like, damn, well, that's interesting. I didn't see it like that, but I can comprehend why you see it as such. That's beautiful. That's profound, right? Yeah. And that is I guess, one of the foundations of why human to human interactions are quite greatly important, right? Because there are different perspectives, different realities coming together and witnessing each other, looking at each other, right? And either you can hate it or love it. I mean, it is still yourself experiencing something else. That's all it is. That's all it is, right? And this is the ultimate truth of things. Consciousness playing with consciousness, awareness playing with awareness. And this seems to be like my topic and life discussions that I've, kind of revolved around, seeing that I am it to what it is being spoken about. I don't know if that makes sense. It doesn't even matter. It made sense up here, and that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Anywho, don't get too caught up in the illusions. Don't get too caught up in situations, relationships, environments, people, materialistic things that seem to look real, but it's not. It's simply atoms vibrating really fast, right? When you break it all the way down to the simplest T, it is one atom vibrating really fast to give the illusion of looking like something else, but it's still itself. That's fire. That's fire, right? And we created multiple systems. Multiple systems could also be seen as creations as well, too, with particular laws and boundaries and functions. And then one function, another function, and another function, and suddenly you have a whole entity, and then the entity within another entity, and so on for an infinite amount of times, right? However long it deems to be or wants to be, until it wants to, experience something else, essentially collapse and then reform, right? It's fascinating. Science does a pretty interesting way of explaining what I just said. Or you can just explain it in a way that you understand it, and this is how I see it, this is how I comprehend it. But I have the capability of seeing it in a scientific manner, seeing it in a spiritual manner, right? Esoteric, exoteric, all these labels, once again, that's all saying the same thing. Um, Appearing or presenting itself in a manner that the particular consciousness can see it or grab hold of it, tangibly and also metaphorically, right? Yeah, yeah, it's fascinating. Let's take a breath. That was fire. That's fire. It's so powerful. Like a simple breath, right? Has the ability to reset everything, to quiet the mind, to bring you back to awareness after playing with these concepts and thoughts and ideas, right? The breath is quite powerful, and we take them so many times throughout the day. How much of them are conscious, though, right? Because when you come back to awareness and you take that breath, it's like everything happening all at once simultaneously. Even with the concept of saying that life, past, future, present, is all happening now simultaneously. I feel like the breath has the same powers or same ability to do the exact same thing, but with presence and awareness, you know? It's pretty cool. And then when you mix it up with yoga, it becomes even more profound because as you stretch, you like inhale, right? And then you want to come down, you just exhale. But of course, the more presence you give it, the slower these things start to fail. And then suddenly you like exit out of reality, you exit out of time. And then the body is just flowing and moving with the breath until there is no breath at all. And then you come to a more realization that we've always said throughout this channel, that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the entity to which you are presumably overlord over, right? It's fascinating. And this is why yoga is taught, or why meditation, or any activity that requires awareness to be aware of itself is profound. Yeah. Yeah. So then now, anything that consciousness presents itself, you are able to just surf it. You know what I'm saying? It's quite fascinating. Many things happen in life. It is bound to happen. It has to happen, right? But how you react, how you respond is the ultimate thing to it. And these days, I'm having less response and less reaction, which then makes consciousness itself quite nervous of itself, because you're no longer doing what you used to do. You have broken a new barrier and now living in a whole entirely different reality. I would like to say one of the truest form of reality. Seeing and realizing that there's nothing happening at all. It's only happening if you say it is. Either life write itself, or you can write it for it, or you can just sit back and watch it happen, right? And have no expectations, right? No grief, no malice, not much energy to exert against whatever has happened, but just to simply recognize it, that it is indeed experiencing itself, and to let it be, you know? Should it want to stick around, it will. Should it want it to remove itself, it will. And it has nothing to do with you at all. And also everything to do with you at all, right? It simply just is. It's fascinating. I feel like this is a great way to go about life. It's a profound way to go about life, you know. People would see it as non-reactive, or laziness, or drug-induced. I mean, the human body is a whole drug, right? Human life is a drug itself, if you really want to talk like that. If you really want to take it down that route, it is drug itself. It's intoxicated with itself. It is narcissistic. It is self-absorbent. It is self-experience. And you should love that shit, right? It's beautiful, truly. But yeah, now that we allow this energy to disperse itself and do what it does, you know, I think it's about time I get up out of here. Upload this video, put it out into the algorithm, and let it attract those who it needs to attract. Let it surf the web for infinity of times, or maybe not, who knows. But yeah, a lot of things are happening out there in reality. I say let it happen. It's going to have to. You can't really control it all. Only thing you can control is your perspective and how you view reality, and how you would allow it to, I guess, presume over you or preside over you. Allow it to hurt you or not. You know, you are indestructible, you are intangible, you cannot be reached unless you say so, right? Protect your peace, for there is no need to protect it, right? Love, because everything is love, right? Yeah. That's the message right there, for sure. It's still cold here. The cold has been phenomenal. I take cold showers, right? And in taking cold showers, I'm able to stop shaking, right? Because shaking is resistance, and resisting is holding and clenching. And the moment you stop shaking, you are now able to let go and allow things to just be. And then your nervous system starts to settle in because there's nothing to be holding on to begin with. There's nothing there. You see how this like translates and correlates inside the body, right? And the code has been able to allow me to see it. Like I've heard about it, but I guess you got to do it yourself. I'm a big fan of cold showers. I'm starting to like the winter a lot. I'm liking it a lot because hating it doesn't do nothing. Yo, my cat is going out it with her litter box. Like she's going at it, fam. I'm gonna have to go and check because she's making all type of noises. She will soon come back over here and join me, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, the cold is powerful. Use it to your advantages. Cold shower is a stimulated, induced environment, and when you use it, you essentially put the nervous system through stress or simulated stress. Regardless, it's gonna feel real regardless. So simulated or not, that shit real as hell. And as you continue to allow your body to conform to it and get used to it, as anything else, it essentially just settles in. And now it becomes non-reactive, it becomes non-performative, non-receptive to it. It just simply is, right? As the temperature lowers into the body, it essentially just self-regulates itself because it's used to it. And so you can correlate this to life experiences, right? You know something is going to happen, whether it's good or bad, it don't even matter. Now, how you react to it when it does happen, it matters because this is a pattern. It's repetitive. It's repetition. The pattern keeps happening and it keeps going and going and going. So, what are you gonna do about it? Like you know it's happening. You know it's coming. So might as well just be non-responsive because not non-responsive but non-reactive because it's the best way to be. Hi. You came in like I said you would because I know you. I am you. But yeah, man, you know, I think that's it for sure. I'm just now going on a tangent. Like I said, it's nothing particular to talk about. We just blurting out things and let things blurt out. Let the energy that's been channeled to be channeled and let it find those that it needs to be found and find, right? Yeah. But we up out of here, man. What is it? War, peace. Uh, That's fire. War and peace come together. Like, yo, the Japanese, the Chinese, yo, Asia, like their religions and their traditions, the consciousness that is out there. I mean, just look at anime, right? The deep teachings in anime and esoteric knowledges within these animes allows you to know that those people, that culture, which is us, of course, not a version of us, are quite enlightened beings. Very much so. Then they cleverly share their enlightenment through animation, right? And the people love it. We eat it up, we thrive on it. Of course, some of my favorite animes, well, you got the Naruto, you got the Bleach, right? Karas, that's pretty cool, right? Recently, I finally started watching it. What is it, Jujutsu Kaisen? The homie's been telling me about that for the longest, and we finally like checked it out, and I was like, yo, this is fire. This is fire. I sat there and watched season 1, season 2, and now they got the Culling games just came out. Eventually, I'll take a dab at that, but it's fascinating. This is why consciousness gravitate towards anime. This is why anime has like a particular following, like a cult like following, because deep down we correlate to the messages that are being channeled through these various characters. Their ages is irrelevant. 14, 15, doing all type of crazy feats, whether it's realistic or not, don't even matter because the message is very much tangible. I can eat it. You know what I'm saying? It's a thought and it's food. I can eat it, and apply it to life. And it's amazing. It's cool. So we'll continue to vibe. Oh, Yo, you chilling? May I pet you? Hmm? What was that? That shit got me too. Is that snow falling from the tree? Hey man, your reaction made me react like that, and I felt your energy, and I just mimicked it. That's crazy. We've been hearing that earlier today, isn't it? I know. I'm sorry that it startled you. Startled me too. And that shit was caught on camera. We gonna keep it though. Human conditions and its limitations, isn't it? Surprise! It's fire. All right, we up out of here. We up out of here. Until next time. Or the time that comes next.